Hi, and welcome to 30 Days of Brave Thinking. I'm Mary Morrissey, and today I'm offering you a gift that will help you stay calm, help you discover that even during very, very turbulent times, you have a power in you that you can actually call upon. And instead of being taken down by a difficult time, you can actually find a way to have this be one of the most empowering times of your life. So it's completely free. It's the fruit of many, many years of study of transformation, and I'm giving it to you. For 40 years, my mission has been in helping people, empowering people, and training people in how to have a mindset that's a match to the results they want to have in their lives, how to move results from one set of results to another set of results that are more empowering, more life-giving, more fruitful for them, for their families, for their workplace, and literally for our world. And it works. I've been working with this for my entire life, helping tens of thousands of people all over the world, and especially in difficult moments like this one. I believe that the right thing to do is give everything I can give you completely free here. And in 30 days, you can establish a set point, a mindset point, and a way of understanding how you can use even the most difficult times in your life to actually help you catapult your life forward. Not because so much of the difficult time or in spite of it, but because of how you went through the difficult time. And if you just keep breathing, you're going to create results anyway. And since we're in this difficult time, why not use it to the benefit of you, your dreams, the impact you can bring, and the difference you can offer? So I'm happy to make this offer to you. It's completely free. To support you today, I'm going to share a short video clip from my signature training program, Brave Thinking Masters. That's one of my highest level coaching programs where I train clients, students in embodying the principles of brave thinking. You're going to have a thinking. You don't get to not have a mindset. You don't get to not think. And those thoughts have a pattern to them, a vibration to them, and they must and do yield results. So we want to use that thinking in constructive ways with some simple and highly effective tools for how to do that. So today, I offer you this wonderful clip, and I know it will serve you. Thanks for being here. So, before we begin, take a deep breath. Take another one. Bring yourself into the present moment. Stay inside this day and inside this present moment. Make sure your notifications, your pings and dings that might come to you through your technology are shut off. So much coming at us. Let's take some moments now and turn to what's seeking to emerge to us and through us. Let's begin.
Welcome to your Brave Thinking Masters class. Mary Morrissey here. So where in the world is Mary Morrissey tonight? Well, this is Dream Builder Live Week. And so I'm at the Marriott Hotel in Los Angeles, right near the airport. And a number of you in this class either have been flying in, or you're here, or you're up in your hotel room watching tonight's class, or you're somewhere and you've got your smart device, and for the rest of you, we're all over the world. So thank you for coming to class tonight. Tonight's class is, I believe, one of the classes that the content of which actually helped me shape my life. I will give you everything I can give you in this short number of minutes in the hour we have, but I hope you will especially take tonight's class and make it personal to you with a much more high vigilance for how you're using a sword of power that you're using all day long, every day. And as you learn to use that sword of power in a constructive way, it will cut through the debris of what seems to be in your way. It will draw you to opportunities. It will open the door for you to be able to see things in new ways, and actually help you to shape your world as you would really love to shape your world. So welcome to Brave Thinking Masters class. You're going down life's highway in the same way you go down the highways in your community, your town, your city. There are two white lines on your lane because that helps you notice drift. And one of the most dangerous parts of really developing and achieving and having success in our life is not really a lack of clarity. That can be one of the challenges. But even with clarity, you're moving your life. And the thing that is the most dangerous thing to you really getting where you want to go in life, in your goal at the end of this year, is not really that you don't have a dream, it's the drift that gets you move into. And drift is difficult to see unless you're vigilant about watching for it. So when you've got white lines down the highway, often they put these little bumps in the road. So if you start to drift out of your lane, you're going to get rattled up a little bit. That helps you, because in the absence of noticing the drift, you can go off a cliff. You can go out into a field. You can end up in a ditch on one side. On the other side, even more dangerously, you can hit oncoming traffic. So in building your dream, in having the life that you're really imagining be your life, the white lines are increasing gratitude on this side, increasing positive self-talk, feeling good about what you did do, praising yourself for the steps you did take, turning up the volume on your ability to notice and give thanks to yourself, positive internal framing words, and you shift whatever version of negative self-talk has become a normal state. And most humans live in really a very strong state of negative self-talk, a lot of not enoughs, a lot of not good enoughs, a lot of should have done it betters. So in terms of being a person of mastery, we work very diligently, and we hold ourselves accountable to raising the gratitude, because gratitude is the frequency that's harmonious with abundance, and also practicing raising the bar on our own positive self-talk. Literally, we do better when we're acknowledging what it is we are doing well. Like attracts like. So let's imagine that. What's happening in your life? And you want to hold the thought of what's happening in your life. What's happening in your health? What's happening in your relationships? What's happening in your vocation? What's happening in your time and money freedom? What's happening there? Bring to mind what it is you would love. Hold the energy of that. Get the pictures of that. And would you absolutely love that? Or raise the bar a bit? So I heard a story once about a robber who goes into a house. He doesn't want to hurt anybody, but he's just learned this, way of, thinking he's getting ahead. So he goes into the dark house and he's starting to pull out drawers, looking for jewelry or electronics or something. And he hears this, "Jesus is watching you." It's like, what is that? And so he starts moving a little more. "Jesus is watching you." What is it? Finally, he turns on the light and there's a parrot in a cage. He goes, "Oh my God, it's just a parrot." "Jesus is watching you." He says, "What are you talking about? What? You're a talking parrot. What's your name?" "Moses." What kind of a person would name their parrot Moses? The same kind of a person who would name their Rottweiler Jesus. I love that. And it has nothing to do with tonight's lesson. It's just funny. No, I'll bring it back. All right. Mitch Hedberg said, "I'm going to fix the last joke by taking out all the words and adding new ones." All right. So our objective tonight is to recognize the importance of the words we think, speak, and write, so that we can choose empowering words and the stack of words we use that add to the support add to and support our desire for abundance. Your abundance vision in health, your abundance vision in relationships, your abundance vision in what you're doing with your time and talent, your vocation, your abundance vision. And the reason it's an abundance vision is it's more life. It's a more expansive life. That is what life is seeking to do in and by means of each and every one of us, including time and money freedom. Spirit is seeking ever greater freedom by means of itself, which means you and me. So I'm going to focus on words tonight and the power of words. As we express our gratitude, let me get my picture. Our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. John F. Kennedy. So yes, notice the difference between when you just speak words that sound good, but you don't have an inner integrity of match to those words. So obviously that's not what we're looking towards. We're looking towards speaking words that are congruent with our vision that we're intending to live into. Maya Angelou says words mean more than what is set down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning. And Winnie the Pooh, it is more fun to talk to someone who doesn't use long, difficult words, but rather short, easy words like, what about lunch? In 1 John, in the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word. Other interpretations that I resonate with more is, in the beginning is the Word. In the beginning is the Word. It wasn't just was the Word way back when, it's the beginning now. In the beginning of everything that will be in your life is the word or the vibration. Your word is an expression of the vibration you're in and the vibration you want to be in. I'm in college and I take a couple of classes that introduce me to some metaphysics. I start studying this, I just get on fire with it. Felt like I'd walk through a doorway from living in the attic of myself, kind of a dark place, and somehow found my way to the front door. And here was this whole technicolor world that I was connected to, that I was part of, that I was actually interacting with, that I had no awareness of it before then. Finished college, go to seminary right away. We moved to Arizona. I go to a 2-year seminary there. Finished seminary. 5 years later, we're traveling around the country. So we co-inherit a blackberry farm with my kid's dad's brothers. And we think, well, we'll farm for a year and we'll have a house, and then we'll maybe someday have a retreat center there or whatever. Ended up farming for 5 years, at the end of which I said, I am not a berry farmer. That's not who I am. So we agreed. So we left and we went on the road for a year with our 4 kids, 2 cats, travel trailer, and a dream to really step on the practice of these laws and see them come alive in our own lives. Along the way, at one of the places I had been booked to speak, they had a poster on the wall that said, "My words create my world." And I commented on that poster, and the minister said, well, I have an extra poster, and gave me a poster. My words create my world. It wasn't a big, we're living in a 28-foot travel trailer. So this, 6 of us and 2 cats. And so there was room right when you came in and out of the door for me to put that poster, and it had brick wall. It was like bricks. And then on top of it, white words that said, my words create my world. So that was making an impression in me. My words, what does that really mean? My words create, well, my words, and I didn't understand it. My words create my world, but it was, I liked it. And so I started paying more attention to my words. I hadn't read Genevieve Barron yet. You have her book, Your Invisible Power, in your wisdom library. In every word you use, there is a power germ, or another word to say is there is a spiritual DNA. There's an entelechy in the vibration in the word. In every word you use, there's a power germ which expands and projects itself in the direction your word indicates, and ultimately develops into physical expression. Now, she wrote this, published it in 1922. She's developing her awareness through the study with Thomas Troward. Most of you have read this little, 80-page book by now, at a level of, intellectual understanding. For some of you, you've been studying this longer, and you begin to really understand what she's saying here. In the beginning is the word. In Genesis, and there's another version of this, it's actually in Hinduism as well, that in the beginning is the void, or the emptiness, the not formed. And we have been created in and after the likeness of the one who creates us. These 6 mental faculties are given to us as tools to transact and traverse the infinite. You buy a computer or a smartphone or a tablet to traverse and transact with the internet. The internet, as vast and wide and wonderful as it is, and we all know that it is, at our fingertips. We used to have to go to libraries and dig through and try to find books, or keep a set of world book encyclopedias and hope they had what's at our fingertips today? It is wonderful. And it is the storehouse. Everything that's there is the storehouse of what humans have learned, thought, and recorded for about 6,000 years. We're 150,000 years old. It's, like the tip of a pinhead compared to the infinite. The infinite. And you and I have been given the capacity to transact and do, whether we're conscious of it or unconscious of it. My world way back when, was full of struggle, and I felt in a dark place, having completely no awareness that the words I used or the thoughts I thought were filled with criticism, complaint, comparison, struggle. And I just felt like it was all happening to me. In every word you use, in the beginning it says, in the beginning was the word. In Genesis it says, and God looked upon the void and said, let there be. It's very important for us. That year has never happened before, not in the history of time. It will never happen again, not in eternity. Never again. The unique constellation of you, your life, who you know, what you're thinking, what you're dreaming, this is a unique moment in all of eternity. You and this infinite opportunity that's in your life, your hands. Not any of us know how much time we're going to get. But while we do have it, you and I are doing an experiment with a life where you discover that you are way more than you ever thought. And you contain far more than you've ever known. And the clue to discovering this in a massive and magnified way is this lesson. My words create my world. And so God looked upon the void and said, let there be. Notice this, the infinite looks upon the void and through a thinker imagines, uses the imagination. Let there be a universe, firmament. Separate the light a day from the night. And there's a dreaming of a world of, fish and oceans and earth and beauty and mountains and rivers and flying things and birds and all the many different, and let us create man and woman in our image and likeness and endow in them dominion over all things heaven and all things earth. And endow in them dominion. That means control. That means the ability to have it be as you determine. All things heaven and all things earth. All things heaven is what's on the invisible side of you. No one can think your thoughts. Nobody can even know all your thoughts. Not the person you're most in love with. They do not know all your thoughts. Nor are they meant to. These are your thoughts. These are your private transactions between you and the power breathing you. But no one can know that but you. And so as you know that, and you pay attention to what it is you're thinking, pay attention to what it is that you're saying, not just outwardly, what you're saying inwardly. You begin to shape either something that's in harmony with your vision or rounds of things that are not in harmony with your vision. God looked upon the void and said, let there be. God did not look upon the void and say, let's just see what comes up. No. And you are trained, of course, now not to look upon the void of what's possible in your life and just say, well, let's just kind of see how it works out. Let's just see what shows itself. No, it was to shape a vision for yourself. In every word you use, there's a power germ which expands and projects itself in the direction your word indicates and ultimately develops into physical expression. Whatever words we use, whatever words we utter, should be chosen with care, for people will hear them and be influenced by them for good or ill, Buddha says. And those people also include you. They include you. My words create my world. It is faith, Genevieve Barron says, or belief. Another word for faith is belief, that gives you dominion over every adverse circumstance or condition. It is your word of belief that sets you free. Or faith, not faith in any specific thing or act, but simple faith in your best self in all ways. That you didn't create you, that there's a power in you. You can believe in that. You can trust in that. You ask, how can I speak the word of faith when I have little or no faith? Every living thing has faith in something or somebody. In fact, in the Bible, it says, to everyone is given the measure of faith. Everybody has the same faith. Your faith is your believing power. You can lay that believing power at the idea, I'll never make it, and it'll work perfectly for you. You can lay it on the idea, this is going to be easy and I'm going to have fun doing it. And watch your belief and the words you're using go forth and help pave a pathway for you. Your faith is your believing power, and everyone has believing power. Many of us haven't trained our believing power to work in service of what it is that we really want to create. We use our believing power to doubt, to be discouraged, and we take our imagination and start and invest that energy, that powerhouse of imagery, in things we really don't want. What could go wrong? What could get in our way? We trouble long before trouble troubles us. And it's just having an untrained mind. So to every man and woman is given dominion over all things heaven, all things earth. So if we take care of all things heaven, your inward state, your invisible state where your thinking occurs, where you're listening and making sure that your inner thoughts and then the words that come forth through your mouth, but words start in here first. And there's vibrations to every word we use. So either building ourselves up or tearing ourselves down. Dominion over all things heaven. So nobody gets to think your thoughts, nor can they make you think any thought you don't want to think. You have dominion over all things heaven within you, everything within you. And that gives you dominion over all things outside you. If used well, it means you can, all things earth are the manifest world, the world that manifests as your circumstances, situations, and conditions. And it's going on all the time. So as we start to pay attention and use constructive words, because we cannot have abundance in our life and speak poverty words. We cannot have real love in our life and be speaking hateful words and mean words and complaining words about ourselves or others. We can't have real love in our life and speak about and have all kinds of stored up resentment because they're not on the same wavelength. Every intense fear is alive with faith. Take that for a moment. If we get really intensely afraid, we have a belief, which is another word for faith, that something bad could happen. Well, here's how could something bad happen? Something difficult, of course. And in every human life, there are challenges. That's a fact. For almost all of us, there are challenges. However, most humans, have no idea that they have a power with them that's greater than anything that can come their way. That means they can have difficult things happen in their life without being overwhelmed by them. So if you're going to place your belief in anything, place your belief in reminding yourself, I didn't create myself. There's a power breathing me. It guides and governs the entire universe, both what I know about it and what I have no idea. I've been given dominion to create this day, a heaven or a hell, by the thoughts I think and the words I use. My words create my world. Every intense fear is alive with belief or faith. You fear smallpox. Now smallpox, we don't fear smallpox today, but in 1922, people did. Today it might be some other form of something that seems like it could happen to you. You fear smallpox because you believe it is possible for you to contract it. You fear poverty and loneliness because you believe it is possible for you. So when we find ourselves having a fear rise up, the good news is, without berating ourselves that this fear rose up, remember the physics of this are, you set a vision for yourself, you set an intention, you leave tonight's class and say, I am going to become more aware of the power that I have to create my world through the very vibrations I'm using, in the words I'm using, the ones I hear in my head and the words that come out of my mouth. I have power here, a power that I may not have been as respectful of or for as I'm choosing to now. So that my word in action is actually doing the thing that I want it to do. And you go forth to do this. Your desire to be your best has expanded your belief into the faith of the universe, which knows no failure, and has brought you into conscious realization that you are not a victim of the universe, but a part of it. That, when I said I felt like I'd walked out of a dark attic and into a technicolor world, it wasn't that everything in my life changed, but I knew I was at the center of the experience I was having. It wasn't happening to me, it was happening with me. And then as I studied and grew, I could change that. That study that we do together and the 40 plus years that I've been studying has opened the doors to, I mean, countless wonders in my life that continue to grow and deepen even as the years proceed. That's what's happening with you right now. All is, again, Genevieve, all your word thoughts were God's word forms before they were yours. So let's talk about what she means by that. Right now, and the Beatles wrote a wonderful song about this, All You Need Is Love. There's a part of it is, you know, anything that can be known is known. It's already known. In the infinite, all things are possible. And the moment you think it up, the experience of it is yours first in the internal or the invisible side of your nature. All your word thoughts were first God. I mean, God, there's every possibility. This is infinite possibility. So and today we call it, with our, you know, new studies in physics, these vibrating like little waves of light. Some of them call it string theory because they're like these vibrating little wave potentials, way smaller than electrons. And they're just this energy. It's everywhere present, just vibrating. And it's sitting in what they call superposition. It's willing to become, inform anything you're in harmony with. When we entered into the quantum world through science is when science and religion began to merge. Now, you know, many years ago, there was an old teaching story about scientists climbing the mountain of knowledge, you know, theorem by theorem, test by test, paper by paper, you know, climbing the mountain of knowledge through scientific approach, scientific testing, scientific theories. And finally, they're approaching the top and they see the philosophers sitting there and the avatars and the great teachers of all time. And they're saying there, welcome guys, glad you finally got here. You know, so, you know, there's some things that can be known that might take, you know, years and years to prove, but now we're proving it through physics. You hold a thought, there's a vibration to that thought. That vibration not only originates in your brain, between the transaction between spirit and this mechanical equipment called the brain, and transmits that signal right through the corpus callosum, which is the connecting tissue between the right and left hemisphere. One part of your brain is creative, it's imaginative. The other part is linear and logical. The vibration of that sends a signal through the fluid around the brain and up and down the spinal cord. That vibration moves through every organ, tissue, cell. Hence, Mary's body showed results of having self-loathing for 15 months. Boom, I'm diagnosed with a fatal kidney disease. I'm full of toxicity. It moves right through your system, but it doesn't end there. It doesn't end with our skin. It goes right, that vibration moves right through and is transacting with the infinite. That meaning, everything that I'm transmitting to the infinite energy that is in superposition to arrange itself into forms and patterns, I call my results that are in harmony with the vibration I'm vibrating and broadcasting. My words create my world. The words you use are the instruments and the channels through which the creative energy takes form. All disappointments and failures are the result of endeavoring to think one thing and produce another. All our disappointments, all the failures, all the, oh, it's taking so long, trying to create results by thinking one thing while we're wanting to produce something else. So we have patterns of thinking. We all do. I used to, I mean, I can remember when my kids were little and how often I would put on images of something horrible before I really began to get diligent and rigorous with myself, that if I don't want that, I am not going to pour energy in that. I'm going to pour energy into them being healthy and safe and coming in the front door, having had a great day. And that's where I'm going to pour my energy. And I wasn't perfect at it. I'm not perfect at it today. I mean, I'll hear something and, you know, if I'm not awake, with my hand is not on the helm right then, I'll catch myself It's just that I've gotten very good at noticing what I'm noticing. I don't indulge in that. The moment I catch myself, which is frequently, I mean, it's quick, fairly quickly, but I'm not perfect at it. I'm not perfect at it. But remember, it's reading your dominant pattern. It's reading your dominant vibration, not just a random vibration here or there. I remember speaking at a, I was speaking at a, I don't remember where I was speaking, except that the director of the event, her son had just been in a car accident, and so she had to leave. So just before they introduced me, the MC was saying that, you know, Sarah's son, Sarah will not be here tonight. Sarah's son was in a car accident, and the first thing the audience did was, so notice that. So Sarah's son was in a car accident. So, you know, we're using our imagination right there to imagine something horrible for him. You can be in a car accident and be just fine. Why do we tend to do that? Because we're untrained. So notice your go-to pattern when you hear information. Because in order to change the pattern of the output, we have to change the pattern of the input. So all we have to do is, there's no criticism, self-criticism, and it's just a noticing that we can be more aware of our go-to use of this powerhouse of our image-making faculty called our imagination. The power of words. So Genevieve Barron, you know, there's really nothing wrong with saying I'm excited. However, in general, you were excited about something because it's not our normal. I went with, I had a girlfriend trip last week, and we were all going to go see a show. We were going to go see the Lady Gaga show, which we did. And, you know, I think we were all had some excitement about it. That's not a normal thing. That's not something we were doing all the time. But that's different to me than getting all excited about a dream, getting all excited about it. Because if it's really my dream, it needs to be normal to me. For me to really ground it and have it, I can be thrilled, and I can be energized, and I can be full of love for that dream. But if I'm excited about it, there's actually, oddly, in that kind of excitement, there's actually some fear of, and there's grasping energy in it. When a way opened up for her to manifest $20,000, the equivalent of almost $500,000 for us now, she said the hardest part for her was to not get excited when she saw one way it could happen, because she knew if she got excited about that being the way it was going to happen, it would close down every other avenue. The moment you fixate on one way, which is why Jack Mullen told me, why are you trying to squeeze the infinite in a 10-year plan to manifest your dream? That's just one way it could happen. So when a way opens up for you, you're in real estate and you want to sell whatever the goal is, and there's a house the size of which you've never sold before. It's, let's say if the highest you've ever sold is $5 million home, this is a $40 million home. It's not your normal. The temptation is to get very excited about that sale and start imagining what the money you're going to earn would be, and that energy actually tends to push away your result or delay it for sure, because you're not a match for it. I sell $40,000 homes, $400,000 homes, $4 million homes, $40 million homes. I sell homes to people who love the homes I help them find. And we embrace that. So you could have all kinds of channels of flow. There's one source, but there's infinite numbers of channels. So we change, you know, I'm excited, to I'm inspired, or I'm thrilled. When we find ourselves saying to our kids, to our spouse, don't forget, blah, 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 the subconscious hears the word forget. A much more conscious use of the words are remember, blah, 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 blah. Because the subconscious has no sense of humor. It doesn't, you know, she doesn't really mean forget. She means remember. No problem. What do we really hear when we hear no problem? We hear problem. My pleasure. Happy to. I'm grateful to do that for you, or whatever it is. I can't. I choose not to. There's a real major shift that happens in our being empowered when we move the I can'ts to I choose not to. I choose. I'm struggling up until now. Up until now, this has been a fact. The moment we say up until now, that is a pattern interrupt. Our subconscious mind hears that. Up until now, this has been true. Now this. That was then, this is now. It takes 7 miles to turn an ocean liner. But the moment the captain gives the order, you can't see it turning very fast, but all hands under deck are going on to work. We're working on that order. And it's the same thing with your subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg of the mind we operate, our portion of the infinite mind that we determine and direct. And our words create our world. Churchill says we are master of unsaid words, but slaves to those we let slip out.
Many of you, as I have been, as I am, are where you are in your life based upon what you believe. And it's not just what you think you believe on the surface, it's also your shadow beliefs that are holding you back from moving into the life that you believe you deserve. What I know is if you're not looking at the shadows, if you're not looking at what is subconsciously running through the tape in your mind, telling yourself you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not smart enough, you're not enough, which is a tape that's playing for a lot of people. If you're not conscious of that, then you end up acting out of that belief system and not out of what you know to be the truest or want to be the truest for yourself.
You are where you are today, in part because of what you've been saying about yourself. Words are like seeds. When you speak something out, you give life to what you're saying. If you continue to say it, eventually that can become a reality. You are planting seeds when you talk. At some point, you're going to eat that fruit. My challenge is make sure you're planting the right kind of seeds. If you want apples, you have to sow apple seeds. If you want oranges, you can't plant cactus seeds, poison ivy seeds, mushroom seeds. You're going to reap fruit from the exact seeds that you've been sowing. In other words, you can't talk negative and expect to live a positive life. You can't talk defeat and expect to have victory. You can't talk lack, not enough, can't afford it, never get ahead, and expect to have abundance. If you have a poor mouth, you're going to have a poor life. And this is great when we're saying things like, I'm blessed, I'm strong, I will accomplish my dreams, I'm coming out of debt. That's not just being positive, you are prophesying victory, prophesying success, prophesying new levels. Your life will move in the direction of your words. But too many people go around prophesying just the opposite. I never get any good breaks. I'll never get back in shape. Business is slow. I'll probably get laid off. Flu season is here. I always get it. They don't realize they are prophesying defeat. It's just like they're calling in bad breaks, mediocrity, lack.
You don't become what you want because so much of wanting is about living in the space of what you don't have. That's why Jim Carrey's story is so powerful, because he started to act as though he already had it. He would go up to Mulholland Drive, he would drive away thinking, I already have those things, I just haven't accessed them as yet. I believe those things are going to come to me and I'm going to act like they are, so I'm going to move forward in my life in order to draw that to myself in such a way that my actions are in alignment with what I say I believe. So if you start to think about that, really, why are you where you are in your life? The choices that you have made have been because of what you believe to be true for yourself.
The time is now. The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
You can talk yourself out of your destiny. Negative words can keep you from becoming who you were created to be. Don't fall into that trap. Quit calling in defeat. Quit talking about how it's not going to happen. You should write down your goals. Write down what you want to see happen in life. Any areas that you're struggling in, where you need to improve, write it down like it's already done. And then every day, declare that decree. Read over it a couple of times out loud. It's not enough to just think it. Something happens when we speak. You have to prophesy your future. Those words will get down on the inside of you. They'll not only change your outlook, but they will change who you are. Your words will become your reality.
For every single one of you. I love you very, very much. Mwah. See you next time.
Okay, let's take another deep breath here as we come to the end of this video. I hope this clip served you today. And if you know anyone that is going through tough times or anyone who could benefit from this, go ahead and help them. This is all free. Go ahead and help them. Invite them. Share the video with them. And rather than spreading fear and contraction and panic, let's each instead be a part of what lifts us up. Let's give what we can give. Let's spread hope. Let's spread compassion. Let's spread peace and calm, health and love. And so here we are today. You have many choices about where you spent your time. I'm grateful you were here, and I hope for you that you, as people come to mind, that you help them with what you can in the ways that you can only do that. And also, if this is helpful to you, go ahead and share it. It's free for me, and I'm happy to give it away. So becoming a brave thinker, and staying in these higher levels of vibration, we actually become part of the solution instead of part of the problem. It's easy to have the ain't it awful conversation. But as a brave thinker, you're turning now to a different way of being, even in very difficult times. And it makes all the difference. And now, if you would love even more support in embodying brave thinking in these challenging times, I have a gift for you. Click below, and you're going to have an opportunity to receive from me 30 days of daily videos from me for 30 days, helping you stay in a mindset of uplifting thoughts, choosing that day what you can do. I will give you a 5-minute personalized video for you for that specific day of this 30-day program in learning how to establish a set point in your normal thought pattern of being a brave thinker instead of dealing with everything coming at you. You will get through this time, but who you become at the end of this and what your conditions are and whether you've grown through this time or just barely gritted your teeth to get through it will have everything to do with your thinking. So my gift to you is 30 days of training. It just takes 5 minutes in the morning. You're going to have a mindset on anyway. You don't get to not think. Why not think? From a vibration that actually takes you where you want to go instead of just barely getting by and reacting to the circumstances we have. So for the next 30 days, I'll send you a 3 to 5 minute video, simple, highly effective steps that you can apply that day to making that day the best day you can have, even in the midst of difficult times. There's no sales pitch in this. There's no hook. It's just a gift from me. And I'm happy to do it at this time particularly. So it's something I've been helping clients with for many, many decades. And I'm just giving it away now. So I'm happy to do that. And I hope you will avail yourself of it. And then if you want to give it to somebody else, feel free to do that right now. That's what we're doing. So, and you can leave any question you want in the comment section below. So I love hearing from you. Did you enjoy this? What helped you? What would you like more of? How you doing right now? What else can I help you with? So until tomorrow, feel a big, big hug from Mary Morrissey.